episode, we'll touch on SAW's group employment programs and how Northeast Ohio companies can get involved right after this. You're listening to SAW Talks, the go-to podcast for issues concerning Northeast Ohio's community of adults with developmental disabilities. Hi, I'm Kathy Zip here again with SAW's marketing team, and I'm joined by SAW CEO Judy Carey. How are you today, Judy?
Good, Kathy.
Good. Well, I want to welcome everyone to another edition of SAW Talks. Now that we've defined SAW's work and mission, today we're going to take a deeper dive and talk about some of the programs that SAW offers in Northeast Ohio, including its group employment program. So, Judy, I know that individuals can start working with SAW after graduating high school, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And so I know that there's some different programming options that they can choose from as you start working with them. So can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yes, so SAW offers many different options for a young adult. First, an individual who is not interested in vocational skills and employment, SAW will offer adult day programming that focuses on activities, social skill development, daily living skills, and of course, community integration. But for the individual who's interested in employment but needs some additional training, we have our Next Steps program that's focused on vocational skill development. The individual will participate in many different kinds of work in many different settings to see what is the best fit. While working in different settings, the curriculum will focus on vocational skills, interpersonal skill development, which in other words means soft skills. When someone is not successful at a job, it's usually their interpersonal or their soft skills that lead to a job loss, not their vocational skill level. SAW offers many different group employment opportunities where their supervisor is embedded with the group at a work location in the community. So group employment or placement with a job coach at a facility in the community would be the final steps in the Next Steps program. So we'll work with the individual's team to make sure that this program meets someone's individual needs.
I like how, customized it really is and how individuals have a chance to even try different programs, if they want, but, at least to start off with, how does the individual work with their support administrator and SAW or like other county employees to determine what option might be best for them?
So when the individual graduates from high school, they've already come out of high school with many skills and exploration in a vocational setting. So we build on from that. It is the school's transition coordinator and their support administrator from the county that will begin that process with them. And what they will do is they will do an inter-survey and what kind of jobs would you like in what kind of setting, what interests you. So all of this information is then put into a program called the Provider Search Tool. The program is reviewed by every provider. The provider then will match the individual with the program and reach back out to the SA and tell them who they're interested in. Or it could happen the other way around where the SA looks to see where a program might be a match for their client and they reach out to the provider. Either way, they're in constant communication with the support administrator and the individual, their family, or another adult that may be interested in their life. So the support administrator would set up a tour and the individual would come and look at the options that are available to them and decide if that's something that they want to try. So it's not until all those steps are completed that somebody can start in a private provider program.
So then if someone does choose to work in, SAW's private provider program, how do you work with them to again determine what path might be best for them to follow?
So we try to look at what is the interest of the individual and what path of employment they would like to choose. And then our job would be to assist that person, provide them with the right tools, education, training, skill development to make that a reality. And with some individuals, that might take 6 months, that might take a year. And some people, it might take 2 or more years. But everybody has their own path, and we try and honor that.
I love that. I think that's great. So, what about from the employer side? Can you talk a little bit about that? What are some of the expectations for the employer and benefits to them too?
So the employer is getting a couple of different things that at first I'm not sure they're even aware of. They're getting a employee who is very focused on work. That is really what they're there to do. They're not there to talk on their phone. They're not there to do many other things that entry level workers there's problems with for most employers. Our employees are committed to work. They come to work every day. They're very punctual. It's really a great benefit to an employer. And where that is also a great benefit for our individuals is that they're part of that process wherever that work location is. They're part of that community. And that's really important for the community to include everyone.
So maybe we can get a better picture of kind of how some of these programs work. If you could give us an example, whether a specific company that SAW partners with within Northeast Ohio, or just even the kind of work that individuals are able to perform.
So we do many different kinds of work, but I'm going to talk about one with a partner we have. It's L'Oreal, and L'Oreal has a processing center out in Streetsboro, and we actually have 13, sometimes 14 individuals who work there. And what their job is, they repackage items that have been wrongly labeled or mispackaged or are now maybe going on sale. So they reopen everything, they relabel it, they repackage it, they count it. So there's a few different skills needed, and they will get pallets and pallets of one product that this has to happen for. And we've been teamed with L'Oreal in doing this for over 9 years. And it's a really positive experience for not only our workers, but for the L'Oreal staff too. Our workers are a part of their team.
Yeah, that's wonderful to see how those relationships can grow over years, and that's a really good example to give a picture of some of the things that your individuals are able to help with. So, it sounds like a lot of your employer partners are really happy with the arrangement. But what about your individuals? Like, how do they respond to working? What do they say about it to you? What do they like about it?
Well, most of the individuals love their jobs because not only is it you're earning money, and who doesn't like to earn money, and they're proud of what they do, and they're proud that they're part of this company, but it's part of their life. Whereas you spend so much time at work that many of the people that you work with become your good friends because you come home and you're not home as much as you are at work. So in order to be part of the community, be part of an adult life situation, work is really important as a part of that. So our individuals, if work is what they want to do, that is what they want to do to be an adult. And it's, you get a very committed, strong individual who usually loves their job.
I think it's so wonderful how it gives them a sense of pride being able to, go out and work and earn their own money. But like you said too, from the social side, that's how they're meeting people and making relationships as well and feeling part of the community.
Right. The interpersonal skills that someone gains from going to a work location is immeasurable. I really, that's hard to reproduce in a setting that is not a real work setting.
So I'm sure there's, other companies out there, they might be hearing this podcast and thinking, wow, like that might be a program that I'd like to get involved with. Is there something that makes a company a good candidate, or how do they get involved?
If a company feels like they have a job or a number of jobs that usually need to be done on a daily, weekly, or even maybe a quarterly basis, and they would like us to come out and evaluate if that setting is going to be a good fit for both. We can train our individuals to do pretty much just about any jobs. The provider has to understand what that is in the commitment for them, and it's really a commitment to having a more diverse workforce. But before somebody says, well, they can't do that, I'd rather they contacted us and let us come out there and see what we can do.
Yeah, it's worth a call and seeing if there might be a good fit for that company.
Always. And on our website at www.sawinc.org, you can look to see what companies we do work with. And that can give you an example of some of these jobs that we do. And they range from cleaning, sorting, packaging. We even have a crew of people at a company called PCC Airfoils, which they make airline parts. And our individuals work on these parts that are dipped then in a wax, and they check for any problems with how that wax has sealed, because that would then be a problem in making that part. So we have some very high level jobs down to very basic jobs. So we try and serve everyone.
Yeah, and you really get to know the individuals and their capabilities and interests and where they might be a good fit as well.
So, and a perfect example is now that COVID restrictions are loosening up, and we are providers that have come out, and these companies are calling us saying, when are you guys coming back? So, I mean, it's really, it makes your heart feel good that they're all want so badly for our teams to come back. It's not just that they like our teams, but they're doing a job that they need done.
Yeah, it's important. And you had mentioned too about diversifying their workforce. I mean, that's a wonderful program in that respect as well. Working with different types of individuals.
It's huge. The person with a developmental disability has the highest rate of unemployment. And this is a way for a company to make real impact in the community.
I love that. And hopefully, some companies will hear this podcast and be interested in joining on as well. So
I hope so.
Well, thank you so much, Judy. It was really wonderful to hear the opportunities for both individuals and the employers to work together with SAW and try to help improve the quality of life for these individuals. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kathy.
And thanks again, everyone, for listening. Again, we hope you'll join us next time. But until then, you can learn more about SAW by visiting sawinc.org. And you can follow SAW on Facebook and LinkedIn too. So we encourage you to leave a comment or a question. We'd like to have ideas for topics that you might want us to talk about. And if you like what you hear, subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode. Thanks for listening to SAW Talks. Stay up to date with our latest episodes by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Like what you hear? Share this episode and leave us feedback. We look forward to hearing from you.